I'm mad at you other Negroes for not sitting down.
Just me. I think it's true for me, but I think I'm a special case given the fact that the industry I work in. I work in the tech industry. I face a lot of just rude comments, ignorant comments, and just unnecessary things that are said to me by Asian people. I've had a few Asian coworkers that told me that the way that I talk is inappropriate, that my tone and my voice is inappropriate for the workplace, and I need to change that. I need to become more Americanized. And he said, don't worry, nobody else is going to tell you that, but I'm going to tell you that. And I get that.
What
She
the
needs
fuck?
to become more Americanized after 400 plus years of being in this country. She needs to become more Americanized. What is more American than Black motherfucking culture? Please take out all the Black culture out of this country. This country will be bored and non-prosperous.
Yeah, it's real insulting to say we're un-American, especially because what she's really saying is that we aren't acting like the white people
Yeah, she's
when,
saying we're not white. Mm-hmm.
yeah, when the vast majority of the white people haven't been here as long as we've been here.
Stop, pause, rewind that mud. What do you mean the majority of white people haven't been here that long compared to us?
Because the vast majority of them are immigrants that came after, you know, so it's like, it's crazy because we are the Americans.
Pretty much. A lot of white people are thirds. A lot of white people are like third generation at best, maybe fourth.
Yeah.
And we're like 8, 9, 10 generations deep, but we're not American. But we built this motherfucker. We built this country for you and your people to come here.
This is why I always say, like, man, when it comes to people of color, like, if your American story started with you on a plane eating peanuts, watching The Water Boy, like if you came over there on the plane eating peanuts, watching Adam Sandler movies on the 12-hour flight, like, then you come here and somehow we in this together, and like, come on, man. The fact that, you know, you have Asian people, these are probably recent first generation immigrants telling this sister, like, you not speaking the right way, you speaking with a certain tone. This shit isn't fucking insane, man. This shit is insane, you know. So that's all I got about this shit. This shit's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's wild to me. Like I said, it's so wild to me because we always get this, well, we're all brown and we're all oppressed and we should just all be together. And it's like, no. The immigrant story and the Black American story are not the same. Can we just appreciate each other for having different stories? Why do you have to force me into being your story? You and I can't be the same because I'm not an immigrant. Like, off rip. Like, so why can't I appreciate you for your story and you appreciate me for mine without trying to force me, without co-opting my story and forcing me into your...
That's the
why
key.
This whole America...
Co-opting our story. That's the key.
Yeah, you co-opting our story, like that whole America is a nation of immigrants. No. America is a nation of slave descendants, Native descendants, colonizer descendants, and people who immigrated after that. That is what this is. And if you want to go into immigration, you can go into the waves.
Then I do my white coworkers.
So the only reason why I didn't come up and agree is because I have experienced a lot of racism from Asians just because I lived in an Asian neighborhood, but I really think that's it. I've lived in a white neighborhood, predominantly white neighborhood. I've lived in a predominantly East Asian neighborhood. And personally, I prefer living in a predominantly East Asian neighborhood because in my experience, they leave us alone. Like they're not necessarily like super neighborly, but I'm not really looking for that. Like the racism I've experienced from white people is so much more like in your face.
It's hard for me to hear these things because as somebody who's also worked at a tech company before, and I'm always a manager in position, and to have somebody talk to someone like that, I don't think our community as a whole, this is not the representation, I don't think they would give the same respect that you guys are giving. And it's not right. it's not right. The fact that you can do that and give us the benefit of the doubt is so kind. It's I don't think we deserve it. And yeah, I overall think that Asian communities are very racist. Not only racist against there are a lot of inter-racism. There's a lot of South and East racism that's prevalent. There's clear black, white, there's racism a lot. But the fact that we are getting the benefit of the doubt that I know that you guys have never been able to get from this culture, and you guys are still having the compassion to do it, really, I thank you. I think it's a very important discussion to have, especially I think as an Asian American. I've seen a lot of hypocrisy come from our side, and I think I wanted to have an opportunity to talk in a safe forum about it.
Asian Americans are more advantaged than Black Americans.
Well, we all agree.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think Asian American privilege is white privilege. I think a lot of my success and opportunities that I got was purely because of how people judged my skin color and ethnicity. They thought I was smart, they thought I spoke eloquently, they thought I fit a minority profile into their culture, whatever it may be. But I've never had a negative stereotype, which means I have an inherent advantage, which is the whole principle of white privilege, right? So I think I'd be very disingenuous in saying that I didn't get a lot of my successes or opportunities just because I'm Asian.
Yeah, I feel like there was that whole thing of good and bad stereotypes is really important. I would love some of those like good stereotypes. Like when everybody thinks you're a thug, or everyone thinks you're ghetto, or everyone thinks that you're somebody's baby mama, especially the age I'm at now, like that are all negative stereotypes and does affect me. It does affect me in the workplace. I would love to walk into the workplace and everyone assume, oh, she's the smartest in the room, or she went to a UC, or whatever good stereotype that is associated with Asian people. I would love to have that. And that's an advantage in some way, because it allows you to have more opportunities where someone's making a quick judgment and they say, okay, who I'm going to work with. If they don't know you, they may pick that Asian person because there's already 100%. Those assumptions that's already there.
So I do feel like East Asians actually have it better than Southeast Asians in terms of, because we're darker, you know, it's all, at the end of the day, it's all in the skin tone.
Yeah, I would echo that. I definitely think it's based off of skin tone. Yeah, if you're East Asian, Chinese, Taiwanese, Korean, you have, in my opinion, more advantages than someone who's Filipino. Like my friend who was Filipino told me, oh, we're the black people of Asians. Yeah. So but I do think that Asian Americans have more advantages than Black Americans because simply you all didn't have to go through the systemic oppression that African Americans have had to go through due to slavery. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think the Asian Americans that wouldn't be here right now and that would disagree are the people who bought into the model minority myth, because that was basically brought on to us as a way to somehow align us with whiteness, in the sense that, yeah, we're accepted because we're smart and we were hardworking and whatnot. And although that's that's all true, it's also saying you're a good minority, therefore there must be a bad minority. Exactly. Right. Yeah. And so that's wedging. When they want us, we're on their side. Right. And then when they don't want us, then they push us aside.
I wonder often, as an Asian leadership in a big company myself, sometimes how people perceive of me. Because I know that I'm articulate and I fit a lot of that stereotypes, but I also have a feeling that there's a very negative side to it. Exactly. Oh, he's only this, or he can only be this, or he's perfect for this,
accepted,
right?
But an
exactly.
outlier.
So that's a whole separate struggle, but I would rather have much of that as the negative stereotype for me than a lot of the stereotypes I think Black Americans get on a daily basis, where that's not even an opportunity.
I think because there's such anti-blackness in the Asian community, even coming from Asia, there's already a bias when you have these first, second generations. There's already that bias there. Yes. But then when they come here, they're taught that black is bad, white is good, don't be like these people. So you're already kind of forming this enemy type of
I'm trying to fit in.
Yeah, you're forming an enemy based on what you're hearing. I even heard Asian people say uncool things to me because they're like, oh, you're black, so you're gonna steal. They'll follow me or just look at me and I'm like, am I gonna steal a 25-cent gum? Like, I'm not gonna risk it all for that, right? So I think it's just like that frustration of you see my skin as dirty and you also see my culture as dirty, and then people come over here and you start pressing me in my country that I helped build, my family helped build, like it's that anger that's kind of there, and I feel like that adds to the tension. I don't believe Asian Americans are dumped on as much as African Americans are in America.
Preach! That is a regular schmegler ass Black woman who works a regular fucking job. She is not out here in the fight. You can tell by just what she said, how she. Come on. Say thank you. We built the richest country in the world for you to come here and be prosperous. Now fight with us so we can fix this bitch and make it right.
Yep.
White people needed Black people to get better fucking rights in this country. Y'all needed us. Y'all needed us in the 60s to get the Great Society.
And everybody's trying to use us right now to get what they want and still leave us behind.
No longer. We will no longer allow you to connect with whiteness and benefit from it. Either we're all going to be piece of shit minorities, or you gonna fight with us. So you should be fighting with us so we can fight to improve the system, as Black Americans have always done. So all these people out here talking about like BLM, I hate them because they just didn't do right with the movement. And I hate that because the fact they get so much smoke because they did nothing with the movement. But there's a lot of people that are mad at BLM that don't even know the real reason why you shouldn't fuck with them. They just don't like that it says Black Lives Matter. But my whole
you're right. They missed the moment. God, they missed the moment. I mean, I know people on my job, some of the people that won't even talk to me usually, right? I'm pretty much a recluse. I stay in my space. Don't bother me. I won't bother you, right? If you need something from me now, I'm still gonna do my job. But
I know you was happy about quarantine.
Oh, jeez, let's not even get into that. I'm happy than a pig and shit. But people were coming to me and other Black folks around saying, "Man, we didn't know. We didn't understand how bad this was." That's what George Floyd did, right? And that's why people work so hard to blunt that impact. That's why George Floyd moved the world. His death moved the world. And that's, Lord knows, I'm not saying he sacrificed himself to move us forward.
Nancy Pelosi, I hope he burn in hell.
My little granddaughter, who just turned 12, she said, "Why is it taking so long?" It didn't take that long, but we all saw it on TV. We saw it happen. And thank God the jury validated what we saw. So again, thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that? Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that? Call out for your mom. I can't breathe.
Yeah, so if there is a hell, and if all that shit is true, she's definitely got
Even if there isn't one, throw that fucking bitch's spirit into something that burns.
Listening to Reset Race, you now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race, you're now tuned in to Reset Race. What? Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them, put them back on the grill again. We grilling them, put them back on the grill again. We grilling them, back on the grill again. We grilling them, You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. We focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake. Lineage go back to U.S. Southern plantations. Lineage, Jim Crow and mass incarceration. Redline and lynchings. We are old from this nation. You're not about justice if you ain't for reparations. MG the wise one. Cousin mother intellectual. Samantha bringing fire. Anti-black, we pressing you. No permanent friends and no permanent enemies. The backbone of the country. To win, you need our energy. You gon' see. Listening to Reset Race. You now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race. You're now tuned in to Reset Race. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Back on the grill again. We grilling them. You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. We focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake.
Until you do right by me, everything you think about is gonna crumble.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with. And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.